here. Mark Fry is here. Mark Fry wisely exited the room rather than engage.
Quickly.
Well, he knew that I was going to rope him in. But I would like one person out there to defend the absolute embarrassment that is the PWHL, Professional Women's Hockey League, which canceled or delayed Game 5 of their playoffs because a couple of people had the sniffy sniffs, or maybe a little scratchy throat, or maybe had a little bit of the pukes or the poops. Due to player concerns over illness, player safety. They added the safety in the release. Imagine being some bobo working for the PWHL and you're like, well, how am I supposed to explain 2 hours before puck drop? And this is the Minnesota Frost, the Walter Cup defending champions. And I see fans coming to see the Frost at Grand Casino Arena. It's great. And Mark Fry just did 60 seconds of news coverage about the PWHL final game tonight. And I just think it's embarrassing. You got people showing up for Game 5. It's supposed to be on TV. Are we supposed to be nice about it because it's women's sports? It's professional sports. You got it. Women wanted professional sports. I'm glad that women have professional sports. There should be women professional sports. But there's also this sort of undercurrent that you and I better care about it as much as everybody cares about men's sports, or else you're sexist. So and you watch it and it's fun and you end up caring about it the same way you care about men's sports. And then you delay Game 5 of the playoffs. 651-461-9226. Somebody talk me off the ledge on this thing because I am absolutely astonished. You want to be taken seriously. And in fact, we are just talking off air about what do the players make, right? Because maybe if you're a professional athlete and it's like being a minor league baseball player, right? Where you're making sort of crappy money. And all right, if you're sick, like maybe we should, okay, single A ball club. But imagine, like, what's the single A ball club that's like, you know what? Some people feel pretty sick tonight. We're going to shut it down. Like, it's laughable. But no one's willing to be like, this is crazy because you're worried you're going to be called sexist. Well, you know what? I'm not worried. It's stupid. It's embarrassing. And the only reason it's happening is because it's women. And I think it sets back women's sports. Imagine if the WNBA did this. Game 5, round 2 of the playoffs. Gotta suspend it. Now, I've never heard of it before. For obvious reasons, because it's crazy. It's crazy. If you are a woman in sports, aren't you pissed about this? I think it's embarrassing. Now, I may be coming at this from the possession, or from the angle of the patriarchy. You got your middle-aged white guy belly aching about this. But I would say I am using my old guy privilege for your benefit.
The middle-aged white guy that was on before you, we can see out the window getting into his car, was belly aching the same way. You're not alone in this.
No.
And I don't think there's any talking you off the ledge, but I do think there's two factors at play here that might be coloring the viewpoint just slightly.
Okay.
One is, and you mentioned it earlier, we've never seen something like this before.
Right.
I've always argued that because we've never done something a certain way before, this is the dumbest reason to not reevaluate and think about, should we do something differently?
Sure.
So the fact that we've never done it that way before, to me, is a thing, but it's not something that should stop us from doing anything. 2,
Okay.
a Minnesota sports team is put at something, not an unfair disadvantage, but they would have had an advantage playing a Montreal team without several of its players yesterday.
Right.
And so Minnesota then takes
Or
that
like
and
an
say,
impaired team, right?
You've seen all kinds of texts already. Minnesota's getting screwed. This is another Minnesota getting screwed in sports complex thing that we're trying to read into a situation where a nascent league is taking, I think, a bold stance and saying we actually value the health and safety of our players more than playing a game on a specific night. We can play the game the next night. It's just fine. Nothing's different. We're just looking out for the health and welfare in doing this one decision, in making this one decision. The PWHL has shown more concern for its players, the people that make its money. In this one decision, they've shown more concern for the players than somebody like the NFL has done in its entire history. The NFL treats its players, the NFL is all about making money, right? That's the thing. Anything that might push up against those owners making money, we go to the mattresses, right? The NFL just goes straight to war over that kind of stuff. They like to say that they protect their players, but then they add more games in a violent game and get their players hurt and cut their players when they're hurt and do all the things. Everything they do says they don't give a rip about their players. They just want to make money.
I like that.
The PWHL comes out and says, no, actually, we care more about our players' safety. I think that should be lauded.
That's a very interesting take. I like it. I like where you're coming from. I couldn't care less.
I knew I wasn't going to talk you out of this, but I thought I'd give it a run.
I think that perspective is fascinating. And so Minnesota Twins, if you got 5 players who are feeling kind of crappy.
Well, and we don't know what the illness is, so let's not maybe undercut maybe we feel kind of crappy.
Well, they rescheduled it for today. So it's not like they're on their deathbeds.
That's true, but
they're doing it the next day, and
there's a middle ground between those two things.
That we know they were going to be fine. They announced that it was going to be tonight, 2 hours at 8 p.m. last night. After 4 hours in between announcing we're calling it and we're going to play again tomorrow. That, to me, makes no sense.
Okay, Dr. DeRusha.
What is the medical case? What's the illness that 4 hours later you were like? Now on the flip side, this is the most conversation anybody's ever done about the PWHL. So
there's that.
Well done.
So it's a grand conspiracy. They only did it for attention.
I don't know that this is if you want to be a professional team, if this is an overall, some of this is growing pains, as you said, of a nascent league. When you are...
It's pretty good use of nascent, isn't it?
I thought it was excellent.
Thank you.
When you're starting out, I think there's a certain degree of the growing pains that come with that. And we even see this at the WNBA level, where now that the WNBA is established enough, when there is criticism of coach decisions or player actions or whatever, you see reaction from inside the house, whoa, hey, that's not called for. But it is called for. You're big girl sports, you get big girl criticism. It's the same as any professional sport. Now, if we are moving to an era of really caring about the employees.
Why are you laughing?
ESPN says each team is required to have at least 6 players making $80,000 a year. Does that change your view about this? It's professional. It's real professional sport. I just think it's...
Dexter suggests maybe the Wild should have used that excuse last night before stepping on the ice.
Well, we had 2 players out with injuries. Maybe we should have suspended for a couple of months. We'll come back and play. No,
2 players out with injuries and the rest of them were just out.
We don't know. We just don't know, right? We don't know what the illness is, but I'm telling you, if the illness is so minor that 4 hours after postponing the game, you knew that you could play the next day, it's not that big of a deal. Toughen up and play the game. That's what I say. Lots of texts coming in. You're welcome to join the conversation. Maybe I'll take a break. I really think it's embarrassing. Oh, would they have suspended the game if the Frost showed up set?
There's no more Minnesota text.
Yes,
right there.
sick of the Canadian conspiracy. Pro big Montreal, big Quebec coming at you. I don't know. I maybe they would. Maybe we're little babies about everybody's illness. I don't know. Suck it up and play hurt. Play sick. Silly. I don't even know why I'm so mad about it.
I don't either, but I love it.
Because what do I care?
I don't know.
Who cares?
Apparently you do.
I just can't imagine any other league doing that.
Any other league actually caring about the human beings that populated sport?
No, nobody cares about their workers. Welcome to capitalism, all right? Drive time back in a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
Chris Lindahl, and here's how my guaranteed cash offer works. We visit your house and make you a cash offer on the spot based on its current market value and condition. When you say yes to the offer, you don't have to do anything to the house. Just pick your closing date. You can leave stuff behind, and you can even stay in the house for free after you close. The smart sellers bypass the growing uncertainty in the world and the risks of the open market and get a big red check and a fresh start in life. No fees, commissions, or stress. Apply for your guaranteed cash offer today at chrislindahl.com.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done with fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Could you help me carry some of this stuff?
A half a gallon of soda, 6 boxes of candy? What's going on?
Movie night at Barufka's.
I thought we were going out.
Not when we have the best seat in the house with our M-Series seating solution.
It's not really the same thing.
It's better. The M-Series combines comfort and convenience with available dual cup holders and wireless, clutterless AC and USB charging ports.
Available as a recliner, reclining sofa, or full theater configuration.
Crafted in Indiana, the 3-piece reclining theater configuration is Craftsman direct priced from $66.12 or $276 a month for 24 months. Now sit down and enjoy the next feature on my cell phone.
Oh, Jim. Barufka's, no gimmicks, haggling, or hard to understand pricing.
Showrooms in Woodbury, Burnsville, and Minnetonka. Decidedly, well, you get the picture.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Drive Time with DeRusha
Look, I'm more aligned with the old people. Okay, I am.
on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So the medical experts on our text line at 651-461-9226 are pointing out that it is likely norovirus. That's a good one in the hockey world, right? Norovirus, very contagious. It includes sudden vomiting and diarrhea. If you promised me before Game 5 of a tied playoff series that there was a chance there was going to be sudden vomiting on the ice, I'm tuning in. I'm not going to miss that. Where you never know what happens. You're skating, and all of a sudden, I mean, also hockey players, honestly, don't they only skate for about 50 seconds anyway, and then it's a line shift?
Yeah, go ahead and tell hockey players they don't work very hard.
So-
Yeah, do that. See how that one works for you.
I'm just saying.
Come on.
Like, you have enough time to get off the ice and get to a bucket.
Here's
don't
what
ya?
here's what I want to know.
Uh-huh.
Are all the people that are crying conspiracy that this is somehow going to screw Minnesota in this game 5?
Which I love.
If the roles had been reversed, if it was Minnesota's locker room that this bug was going through, and they didn't postpone the game, would those same people likely be screaming, Minnesota got screwed, they could have postponed the game?
It's just stupid. What fans do not have, this is not like the debate club where we have to be even-minded. This is about our team, and the other ding-dongs were
You
sick.
you can be consistent and be a fan. That's allowed.
No. Very rare. Very rare.
I don't disagree, but it's allowed.
So if it turns out that it was norovirus, and tonight the Frost will win in Montreal, and then tomorrow, like Ottawa, we'd be playing Ottawa next. What if we get sick? Do we invade Canada? Do we express our displeasure with this situation?
51st state, here we come.
I'm just asking questions. Lots of texts coming in. Maybe the women's league doesn't have to operate exactly like the men. Keep in mind, we don't know the full story. You don't have to be nicer to the women, but neither do they have to model their league exactly like the men. So as a fan, imagine you're a fan in Montreal. You gathered your Canadian dollars to save up to buy a ticket to Game 5, and you loaded up. Do they drive cars in Montreal?
What do you?
I don't know.
Of course they drive cars.
So you loaded up. You came down from Quebec City for the big Montreal matchup, and then, oh, sorry, we canceled the game because some people are sick. I can't even say it without laughing. It's so ridiculous. What is the illness that would make it okay? A lot of texters are saying, Jason, did they ever say what the illness was? That would make a difference.
Yeah,
Jason, come on. Unless you have all the info as to what it is and how many players were affected, then maybe just take a beat. I did. I waited 24 hours before.
Because you were hot about this yesterday.
And I only mildly went
Yeah,
went
you
in.
didn't. You just sort of touched on it.
And I said there was a chance that today I would be apologizing.
You did
because
acknowledge
it
that,
turned
yes.
out that it was something serious. But they're playing tonight. It's not serious. Now, norovirus, uncomfortable. I don't want it. I'm not intrigued. I don't want to spend my evening around the Montreal Victory. But, come on. It's goofy. It matters how many of the players were sick. Now, every other team in the world, wouldn't you just have to call up some backups? You tell me there's nobody in Montreal that could lace up, put on some pads, put on the bloomers, and get out there and do it for Canada? Bloomers. I don't know. It seems to me that I just think it's embarrassing. Texters say the symptoms are not consistent with the hantavirus. Yes.
That's true.
I feel bad for them, says a texter. I feel bad for them too. But you signed up to play the game. Another texter, Jason, I work for the Minnesota Twins. Now, before I continue, we're going to assume you work at the Minnesota Twins game.
I mean, could be part of the
this
organization in some level.
Tom Polad text in.
No, it's probably not Tom.
I think this women's PWHL decision to postpone is crazy. In addition to sticking at the fans who had tickets, how about the hundreds of staff who were scheduled to work the game? Ushers, guest service, security, first aid, ticket office, not to mention all the employees in the food service. Now, all of them need to get rescheduled. Just a poor decision to cancel the playoff game.
That's the best argument in favor of your position.
Yeah.
Is saying that this is much bigger than just the players. You're inconveniencing a whole lot of people if you do this. I think that's reason to make a very serious and sober judgment in this case. I don't think that's a reason to not come to the conclusion.
No,
that the PWHL can't.
right.
It should be accounted for. There's no question. That should be considered in the decision that was made.
But like if it were an NHL player who is sick, you just call somebody up, right? You just have some reserves. Like if
right, but this is a
believe
brand new league that doesn't have feeder leagues like the NHL does.
you have college players, they have colleges in Canada, right?
Well,
You could have somebody. I'm just saying, like, you have backups. So assume 6 of your players were out. PWHL roster has 20, I believe, 23 players. And you're allowed to have 3 reserve players. So you have 26 players.
okay.
So, like, how many players do you need at any given time? 6? Let's get out there and
You
do
need
it
a few
for
more
Canada.
Than, you need a few more than 6.
I don't know. I don't like it.
That's clear. I think you've expressed that very clearly.
$80,000. 6 of those Montreal players got $80,000 a year, American. So I don't know what the exchange rate is, but that's a lot of poutine, you know? Texter says these women hockey players are pretty tough. I doubt they'd wimp out for something minor. They're playing today. I'm going to tune in. Because, again, if there is norovirus, there's a chance that, there's going to be a little more entertainment on the ice. And look, people get sick. There are someone is texting in with a serious story about sick, of course. And this is what a professional sports team is built for. Sometimes you have injuries. Sometimes you have illness. Sometimes stuff happens. And it's next person up and off you go.
Or you're allowed to reconsider and say, let's just play tomorrow night.
Well, you're allowed to. They did it.
Let's reconsider. Let's think about our players' health and safety. Let's make sure that this thing doesn't spread any farther than it already has.
Then don't they owe a little more of an explanation to say, like, 4 people were sick or 8 people were sick? And then you'd say, like, all right, if you had 8 people unable to play.
Well, is that the number? Is that what we're just going to, you got to have?
If it's
this
23, like, yeah, I think, to me, if 10 of the team is sick, then I moderate my view on it.
But if it's 9.
Invade Canada. Feels reasonable. Let's break. Ramsey County Attorney John Choi is going to join us in a minute. They've had incredible success in St. Paul and Ramsey County and going after shootings that were not deadly. It's made a big difference in crime. How can we move that all across the state? We'll talk about that in just a minute here on Drive Time.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com. And now, News Talk 830 WCCO presents 20 Seconds of Zen. Because when you're well informed, peace of mind comes naturally. Clarity in a noisy world. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. How long have you been stuck with the same phone plan? 2 years? 5? 10? Are you tired of surprise fees and confusing bills? Switch to Red Pocket Mobile. With Red Pocket Mobile, premium 5G plans start at just $10 a month. Pick a plan, lock in your rate, and that's the number you'll see on your bill every month. No hidden fees and no long-term contracts. And here's the kicker. Red Pocket lets you choose from 3 major 5G networks, not just one. Pick the network that actually works where you live and where you work. Try one, and if you like it, keep it. If not, switch to another. Never be stuck with a single network again. Plus, keep your phone, keep your number. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
New customers can switch and save 50%. Choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price and no contracts at redpocket.com. Redpocket.com.
Losing a loved one is difficult enough without having to worry about paying property taxes on a home you inherited. That's really tough. If you're in a situation where you have to sell a property you inherited, you can trust my friends from the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. It's Vanita. The Good Neighbor agent just helped Scott, a fellow WCCO radio listener, get his family home sold. He was going through a lot after his loss and wanted a quick, stress-free process. John's a compassionate guy. He was patient with Scott and also assured him he could get the job done fast without adding any stress. It took him less than 2 weeks to sell Scott's house. The buyer paid $10,000 over asking price. John made a stressful situation a lot easier for Scott. John makes selling easy. Want to know what your home is worth? Find out in seconds on johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1102. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1102. That's 800-575-1102. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Got a crash working South 100 near Benton Street. The right 2 lanes are currently closed. However, it looks like they are about ready to clear the scene. So emergency vehicles are moving around. Use extra caution now as they do move the vehicles around. So South 100 at Benton Street, the right 2 lanes are now being reopened. Still jammed up, though, nonetheless. Stop and go stuff in place. Come down from Highway 7. East 94 at Dale Street. Crash off the left shoulder there. Traffic is slow as you make way toward the scene of the wreck all the way in downtown St. Paul. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast brought to you by Gutman Law, Wills, Trust, and Probate Law, gutmanlaw.com. Here is Chris Schaefer.
The wind settles down tonight, finally. Clear sky down to 48. Mostly sunny tomorrow, not windy with a high of 72. Nice looking day. It gets warmer on Thursday, high up around 77. We have a front coming through that's going to trigger some scattered showers. I think it arrives in the evening. Of course, it will be windy again. We should hit the low 80s by Friday.
22-mile-an-hour winds in downtown St. Paul, where it is 67 degrees on CCO.
Steering you through what matters. Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
We talk about homicide and murder maybe too much. It's the focus of the news. It's often the biggest data point when it comes to what's going on with crime. But when you talk to people who live in Minneapolis and live in St. Paul, it's the nightly gunfire. It's the shootings that are just going off, that don't hit their target, that make you feel unsafe. Ramsey County in St. Paul has been incredibly innovative in targeting those non-deadly, non-fatal shootings, and they've found great success, and now they're trying to spread that all around the state. Ramsey County Attorney John Choi is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. He helped design this program. John, it's good to visit with you.
Hey, Jason, thanks for having me on your show with your listeners. Happy to be here to talk to you about some of the really good work that's happening in collaboration amongst a lot of people here over on the East Side.
This has been a tremendous success, hasn't it? How long have you guys really built this specific program to go after non-fatal shooting?
Well, the planning started back, I would say, in 2023. And thankfully, that year at the legislature, they had a huge surplus. So the legislature and Governor Walz distributed public safety money throughout the state. Counties got some money, cities got some money. And St. Paul and Ramsey County kind of joined forces, and we said we would take some of our share and we would build out and fund out a better way to investigate non-fatal shootings. Non-fatal shootings are where somebody tries to kill somebody, but because the emergency room may have saved their life, or I'm just a bad shot, those cases historically are the solve rate or the clearance rate, and this isn't just here in the state of Minnesota, but it's national. It's horrific. I mean, they're typically, like 25%, 35%. In fact, St. Paul was at 37% when we started this project. And for the last 2 years, we have a solve rate now of over 70%. And just last year as well, on the homicide clearance rate, St. Paul is at 100%, which is just really unheard of. I mean, when I go around talking about this around the country, and by the way, this is a model for the country, and I talk about these numbers, nobody ever believes me because they're so incredibly high.
How does investigating non-deadly shootings lead to maybe answers in actual homicide?
Yeah, because I think that we're sending the wrong message if we don't solve these crimes. And then let's talk about why this was. A lot of times, in our communities, we have retaliatory violence, cyclical violence. So when the police officer shows up to the emergency room and the person is recovering from their gunshots, they don't want to participate in their own investigation and prosecution.
Because it's gang, it's like gang stuff where somebody,
there's retaliatory violence, and they don't believe that the system is going to keep them safe, and so it's better for them to keep themselves safe, and then exact whatever revenge they're going to do. So this just perpetuates, especially in urban jurisdictions all across America. But if we were to take an approach to say that we're going to investigate and prosecute these cases regardless of whether or not the victim participates, and by the way, we do that all the time for a homicide, right? There is no victim. We figure out how to solve these cases, so we can do the same thing for these cases. And so the effort and the initiative is just to really treat these cases like a homicide. The St. Paul Police created their own separate unit. It's not the homicide unit. It's a separate non-fatal shooting unit. They go out immediately as soon as there are shots fired. And then we also created a victim a witness emergency fund and the theory of change there is that if we could take care of some of the basic needs of individuals around safety, maybe later they will participate, but we're assuming that they're not going to participate. And we're developing and getting all of the evidence that you can get, like cell phone location, video cameras, all of those things. And we're just on it right away and treat them like a homicide. And that's why these results,
the response is sort of the
shown
same, right, John? Like the police department sends out the same kind of cavalry that they would if it.
Yep.
Now in St. Paul, there were only 15 homicides, right? So does that make it more
but think
doable?
About the year before. But think about the year before. There were 32. Right? 32 homicides, and then we got it down to 15, and I know it's because of this. I mean, just the shots fired in our town, I mean, it went down from 183 to 73.
Yeah.
In terms of non-fatal shootings.
The results are unbelievable. Are they better than you expected?
Yeah, we were just thinking if we could get it over 50%, because our model was Denver, and they got it up to 50% after a year. We thought we'd be doing great. And wow, we're at like above 70%, and we've been doing that for the last 2 years.
You went to the Capitol last week asking for lawmakers to pass a bill because this takes a little money, right? You got the money from the Walz administration from the surplus. What is it to hire extra people or do more processing, or what does the money go to?
Yeah, I mean, they basically the city used it to create this separate unit. And so they backfilled and they pulled investigators from different units. So they were able to kind of get more personnel. And then the county used it to create this emergency safety fund. We used it for some overtime for suburban jurisdictions. And by the way, their clearance rate is 75%. Granted, they only had 4 cases in a year.
That's great.
But still, that's great. And then we have gotten some other resources for training and things like that we use the Ramsey County money for. But the key is, and I think I want your listeners to think about this, is that everybody in my town, we're all pulling in the same direction. We're on the same team. And that makes the world of a difference. This word collaboration, it really means something if you want to get stuff done for the people. And it can't happen unless we pull in the same direction. I think the problem right now is that everywhere in America, everybody's pulling, but they're pulling in different directions. So if we could actually focus around what we need to do for the people and what more important thing could we do around solving crimes and getting towards a better version of public safety. So if we can get people together in a room and say, these are the things that we're going to focus on, these are the things how we will say it out loud, we will stop blaming each other for the problems and just pull in the same direction, a lot of good things can happen.
John Choi is with us, Ramsey County attorney. I know there is a bipartisan bill in front of the legislature that would get another $1 million in grants. I assume Hennepin County would love this kind of program over there. Up in Duluth, I'm sure, and Rochester, all of our urban St. Cloud, they love this kind of thing. What I saw the bill pass through the House. What is the status of this? And I know our legislature only has a week or so left, but does this have a shot?
Well, this is crunch time. I would hope so, because I think it's so important for just from a public safety of just reducing shots fired and homicides and all of those things. So right now it's crunch time. They're kind of negotiating. It's in the House bill, and we've got to figure out a way to somehow find that money as they reconcile what they're going to decide to fund. But the money somewhere it's there. And I think this $1 million will get us started here in the state of Minnesota. Also, too, Minneapolis has already, they've also put some money into this now. They want to start this up. And St. Paul, I know that they're going to need some of these resources just to keep it going. But I know that we're going to keep going. We're going to do it. We'll have to find a way, but it just helps when the state is a partner as well. So we just need the state to pull in the same direction as well.
It just feels to me like this is essentially pays for itself, because in solving these cases, you're going to have this sort of long tail effect of reducing crime, because some of these people are going to be locked up and unable to commit another crime.
Absolutely. And that's what we do. We have of all those cases that we solve, we charge well over 90% of them. And if we don't charge them, we're just going to get more evidence and eventually get there.
The results speak for themselves. So I hope the legislators can get this done. John Choi, Ramsey County attorney, we appreciate you spending some time with us. Thanks, John.
You bet. Thanks, Jason. Take care.
346. It is Twins Ticket Tuesday here on CCO Radio. And we've got great tickets for you today. Friday night, early start. They moved up the start time for the Twins game, 6:10 first pitch. And we're giving away a 4-pack of tickets. So caller 3, when you hear the sound effect, call 651-461-9226. And not only did you get that 4-pack of ticket at the game, but Dan and I are going to be live at Target Field before the game. So you come to the Twins game on a Friday night. You get happy hour, $2 beers.
Gates open at 4 o'clock.
So you get your beer. You get your $2 hot dog. You get your snack. And you come over and see us in the left field concourse,
right behind the bleachers,
and we'll put you on the show.
Maybe you buy 2 hot dogs, actually 3, one for them, one for you, and one for me.
I like it.
And then it's $6. It's nothing, right?
Nothing, especially when you're getting free tickets.
There you go.
So keep listening. Pretty good stuff. You can buy your ticket. I'm going on Sunday. I just bought 8 tickets for my nephews and my sister and brother-in-law, and so let's go. Twins.com to get those tickets. When we come back, how many years left do I have before old person smell? getting old is so unappealing to me. And this is just one more reason why. Old person smell, it's a real thing. We'll talk about it next.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chad back here with you. I want to talk about trust and peace of mind. We all need it, in particular in some areas, including your insurance. Maybe it's for your business, or maybe it's more traditional with your house and your car. For me, I have trusted Amber Scholl and Associates with American Family for, what are you guessing, 5 years, 10 years? No, my entire family, whether it's my father or my kids, with American Family, with Amber in particular, for 30 years. We dread something bad happening with our house, with a car accident, but we need people with expertise, with professionalism and availability, and that's what Amber and her team are all about. Reach out to them today. It's worth it. Trust me. 651-738-4811.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Crash working for East 94 at Dale Street. They're into the left lane a little bit with the tow truck on the scene. Now get ready for your slowdowns to come in from Lexington. You're going to be traveling 94 westbound into downtown Minneapolis. Get ready for your slowdowns there as you move in from here on Boulevard. 35W northbound slows through the downtown stretch as you head up to Highway 36. West 94 slows Boone Avenue over to Weaver Lake Road. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, tonight the wind is going to calm down. Finally. Low of 48. Pretty good night to have the windows open, right? Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 72. A potential DeRusha delight day tomorrow. It's our own top 10 weather day. Thursday, scattered evening showers, high of 77. The average high is 68. We need some rain. We might get it Sunday into Monday. Right now, it is very, very windy and 67 degrees on CCO.
Jason DeRusha
is worth, I'm going to go $350 million. Net worth is estimated to be approximately $500 million. One of the highest paid media personalities we have today.
Also deeply insecure.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Ooh, this place has got old man stink.
Ooh. Don't listen to him, sir. You've got an enchanting musk.
It's already too late for you and me, Dan. It's already too late. Huffington Post today. Headline, old person smell is real, and science will dictate whether it happens to you. Every birthday after age 40 increases the likelihood of these changes in the way that skin smells. There is a culprit. Now, first of all, do you guys know this smell, right? Like, I'm not making it up. And there's a certain smell, I don't know, we all have a grandparent that you can just conjure up, grandma or Meemaw or Sweetie Pie. Did you have a nickname? Did you have a grandma nickname, Dan?
Nope.
It was just grandma?
Yeah.
Do you feel cheated that you didn't get like there was no adorable nickname?
Not really. That I wouldn't feel authentic to me.
Even as a small child, you were this much
entirely too serious and curmudgeon. Yes. Yes.
My dad's mom was Sweetie Pie. I never met my dad's father. He died at a young age. My mom's mom was Mima, M-E-M-A, and Grandpa was Papa.
My dad is Papa to his grandchildren, which is hilarious in the sense that my mom was more obsessed with having the cute grandma nickname.
Did she just not want to be grandma? Like, did that
I think
feel
so.
old?
Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. And the kids all call her grandma, and it just, whatever she tried didn't stick.
It failed.
My dad made no effort whatsoever, and they all call him Papa. So
there is something called 2-nonanol, which is an aldehyde, and that is the aging odor.
Why is there only 2?
Now, not all aldehydes smell the same. So, for example, cinnamon, you know the aroma of cinnamon? You can smell it right now.
I'm
right?
familiar, yes.
Do you know what the aldehyde is named? That's cinnamon?
Can't say as I do, no.
Cinnamaldehyde.
Wow.
As we get older, so what's a little disappointing is there's nothing you can really do about it. But as you get into your 50s and beyond, this gradual process happens to most people. I don't care for how the dermatologist in this story described the smell. It's a grassy, greasy scent.
Does this mean you're going to be wearing cologne a lot more often to work?
Probably.
Yeah.
I do love cologne.
You do. You do.
But nothing today.
Well, and you haven't much recently.
No. I mean, as I age, maybe do you think that's why but you can't usually smell it, is what it said. And it doesn't wash off very easily because it's very sticky.
But you know it's there.
You know it's there. I mean, I know. Am I already there?
I mean, I haven't noticed, but I'm the same age as you, so I probably wouldn't.
Right. They've been looking at different research. The eggplant extract might reduce the 2-nonol
I mean, Mark Fry's a young man. He would be able to tell you whether you
Mark,
have
you know
man smell.
old guy scent, right? There's a certain old man scent that the olds have.
Yes. I don't get that vibe in here. It's just
yet. Thank
not
you.
yet.
You know what? Honestly, what validation?
Maybe
for
next
Mark
year.
Fry. Because maybe next year. What is the age? I mean, Alyssa turns 50 next week. Should I get her some eggplant extract to try to reduce her no? I'm glad science is working on the real stuff, you know? Continental Diamond. I was over there earlier today. No old person smell in there. Just the smell of beautiful pre-owned luxury timepieces. Go check out. You can buy the watch that I wore this weekend at Winefest at Cartier Santos at Continental Diamond.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was just at Staples. They're having a huge 40th anniversary sale.
40 years. Note to self, send flowers.
Up to 50% off. Save on chairs, paper, balloons, and more.
Balloons?
Yeah, Party City is now at Staples.
Surprise!
But the anniversary sale is only 2 weeks, so...
Quick, celebrate 40 years of savings at Staples with up to 50% off. Shop chairs, paper, break room supplies, and more. 2 weeks only in 523.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
$4 a gallon gas. Let's save some money at Luther Kia of Bloomington. Jason here from my Kia Connection. Right now, they've got more than 90 electric and hybrid Kias on the lot. I just test drove the EV6. So much fun, and I can drive to and from work for 2 weeks on a single charge. The hybrid Kia Sorento SUV gets great mileage on the highway. The Red Hot Telluride is a hybrid, too. Check them out at LutherKiaofBloomington.com, where 35W and 494 come together. Tell them Jason sent you.
Streaming live via the Odyssey and iHeartRadio apps. This is News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Inflation accelerated in April, the highest since May 2023, as the Iran war pushed up energy costs and more. CBS's Jared Hill.
Costs are definitely getting high. Yeah. Gas prices, grocery store prices.
The Consumer Price Index rose 3.8% in April compared to the same time last year, up from 3.3% in March.
The war with Iran continues to push up gas prices. Now that's trickling into other areas like plane tickets and food.
Groceries increased by 0.7% in April after actually dropping in March.
President Trump is on his way to China for a summit with Xi Jinping and says they will have a long talk about Iran.
They get a lot of their oil from that area. We've had no problem, and he's been a friend of mine. He's been somebody that we get along with.
The head of the World Health Organization says global leaders should prepare to see more cases of hantavirus amid ongoing efforts to contain the virus. CBS's Ian Lee has heard from WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus.
The World Health Organization has tied a total of 11 reported cases of the virus to the ship, the latest discovered in a passenger quarantined at a hospital in Spain.
Given the long incubation period of the virus, it's possible we might see more cases in the coming weeks.
One American who tested positive but is not experiencing symptoms is currently being held in a biocontainment unit at the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
18 U.S. citizens are being monitored at facilities in Nebraska and Georgia. An Epstein survivor identified as Rosa has given powerful testimony. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee held the field hearing in Florida as part of the investigation into the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case and document release. Rosa noted that her modeling firm, run by convicted sexual predator and modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel, relocated her to Miami, where she says
Jeffrey Epstein was under house arrest for the molestation of underage girls at the exact time he was abusing me.
Despite efforts to protect her identity, her name appeared more than 500 times in court records when the Justice Department released the Epstein files. Medical examiner Sterling McLaren says of the 41-year-old man who scaled a Denver airport fence on Friday, crossed a runway, and was struck and killed by a Frontier Airlines plane.
The best way to determine manner is to evaluate the totality of the investigation, scene findings, circumstances, and history. And based on all of those findings together, we determined the manner of death to be suicide.
The collision sparked an engine fire, and the plane was evacuated after the cabin filled with smoke. 12 passengers suffered minor injuries. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world. I'm Tony. There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers. How are you? I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy at 66 degrees at 4:03. I'm Mark Fry. Voters in the Lakeville Area School District today decide whether or not to approve a $139 million bond referendum. District 194 Superintendent Michael Bauman says the money will go towards expanding middle schools in order to meet the district's surging growth.
Adding additions to our 3 middle schools and some earlier work in adjusting boundaries, we're able to improve and enhance the learning opportunities for our students as our community continues to grow.
The Minnesota Department of Health announcing this afternoon a person who is briefly exposed overseas to someone who is on board the cruise ship and tested positive for hantavirus. The Department of Health saying that they want to make sure people know that the risk of spread is very low. They are in contact with the person in the state. And the Department of Health here in Minnesota says that person does not have symptoms. Time is running out at the Minnesota State Capitol with plenty still to do. Hospital administrators in Greater Minnesota are urging members of the House to pass a bill to protect a federal program and allow it to continue. The 340B program requires pharmaceutical companies to give rebates on certain drugs, but that program is set to expire next year. Kimber Ralstad is the administrator and chief executive officer at North Shore Health Hospital based in Grand Marais.
North Shore Health has benefited from the 340B program on average about $260,000 a year. Okay? But even with those savings, we still have operating losses of greater than $2 million. 340B is not padding profits.
Pharmaceutical companies have sued the state to stop the program and have spent about $1 million on an advertising campaign alleging that administrators are using the money to pad their profits. A 21-year-old Coon Rapids man has pleaded guilty to bringing a machine gun to a high school graduation ceremony at the University of Minnesota last spring. Hamzad Saeed entered the guilty plea yesterday in federal court. He was arrested last May after the shooting at Wayzata High School graduation at Mariucci Arena that injured 2 people. Saeed faces several charges in Hennepin County. Another tax scam in Minnesota to be aware of.
This one appears to come from the Minnesota District Court and claims people have unpaid traffic violations. Kim Pletica with the Minnesota Judicial Branch.
They have stylized graphics. They contain judges' names, law clerks' names, citation numbers, court file numbers. None of it is real. It's all fake.
Another way to know it's fake, Pletica says, is that it does not contain a Minnesota URL. But more importantly,
the easiest way to tell that this isn't real is that the Minnesota Judicial Branch will never text you demanding money for a parking ticket or for anything else.
So if you receive one of these texts, delete it immediately. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
It's 4:06, traffic and weather next.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
94 eastbound near Dale Street accident in the process of being cleared out of the way. In the meantime, traffic is slow through the stretch as move in from Lexington. 694 eastbound watching slow stuff there as we move from basically Shingle Creek Parkway heading out to Highway 10. West 94 is jammed up as you make the run between Boone Avenue and Beaver Lake Road. Sherry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Right now might be the perfect time to protect your home with clog-free Leaf Guard brand gutters, custom built for lasting performance. Get Leaf Guard brand gutters through Lindus Construction, 8449 Lindus, or on the web lindusconstruction.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Lindus Construction, a single contractor construction company for all of your home improvement needs. LindusConstruction.com. Here's Chris Schaefer.
The clouds will clear out. The wind will settle down to the 5 to 10 mile per hour range. We'll drop back to 48 overnight tonight. Tomorrow looks nice, mostly sunny, slightly warmer than average with a high of 72. And this will be one of the few non-windy days. Northwest wind 8 to 10. Now that wind does pick up again on Thursday. We have a front coming through. That's going to trigger some showers by evening after a high of 77.
Mostly cloudy, 66 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Everything you need to know, all in one place. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, how many of you were surprised by the fact that the Consumer Price Index was up today? It's Jason. Welcome to Drive Time. Hour 2 in effect on a Twins Ticket Tuesday. We are giving away a 4-pack of tickets today because we know that everything else is so damn expensive that maybe you need a freebie. So listen for the Twins sounder, that 4-pack of tickets coming to Friday's game against the Brewers. I do not think free Twins tickets is part of the bucket of things that make up the Consumer Price Index. But this is one of the biggies to let us know, all right, what's going on with inflation? Gasoline and oil prices, it has a major risk of being a severe drain on our economy, on our summers, on the busy road trip season. Pat Raycamp, the senior financial writer with 1834, a division of Old National Bank. Pat joins us all the time. He's here to shed some light on all of this. Pat, it's good to visit with you. Let's start with the overall headline here, 3.8% in April. I'm no economist, but this sounds like a big number.
Hey, Jason. Yeah, 3.8% year over year is the inflation gain. Big number. It's roughly what the analysts were expecting in line. But again, 2% is generally the target that's good for the economy. So, and it's trending the wrong direction. So we're not in love with this number, but a lot of it, I think we were expecting. We know a lot of this is driven by gas prices. We can see that because we're all driving places, going to run errands, go to work, pick up the kids, whatever.
So that's what I wanted to know. How much of this is other parts of the economy and how much of this is pretty clear to say this is the Iran gas price effect? Is it mostly gas, Pat?
Mostly gas. Looking at it now, gasoline up 28.4% year over year. That's the big driver in the headline figure. Gas is one of those where it seeps through to other parts of the economy. Transportation costs go up, shipping costs, production costs. It's one of those you really can't escape. I was talking to my wife about this the other day, and if furniture costs went up all of a sudden, or say residential rents, a lot of people don't notice that unless you're out shopping for a new couch or looking for a new apartment.
Yeah,
gas will seep through to everything, really.
Yeah, I was reading today one of the nation's premier gas price analysts, Patrick DeHaan, who comes on our show every once in a while. Patrick was saying that if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, $5 a gallon average gas for the country it's going to be here in short order. I mean, already I think I saw close to like $5.29 driving around today in Minnesota. That is aggressive. When you fill up the tank, what used to be 50 is now 70, and depending on how much you drive or whether you take road trips. And then, of course, diesel prices are up even more, aren't they?
Diesel, jet fuel are up even worse than what we're seeing at the pump, which is pretty noticeable. And I think the thing, though, is gas prices, there will be a tailback. At some point, people will start taking the bus to work, or they're going to start carpooling. The gas prices can't go up forever, and people just suck it up. So we'll have to see. I think if you want a little bit of ray of hope in some of this, oil's futures contracts for the end of the year. So what you pay now, get shipments, say, in December. Barrel of oil around $80. a barrel. You figure, what does that equal to? About $3.25 a gallon by the end of the year. Now, that's moving up week over week, but analysts, the market's not expecting this to last forever. They expect the strait to open up eventually, or oil's going to find new routes to travel as well.
Pat Raykamp is with us, senior financial writer for Old National Bank, for 1834, that division of Old National Bank. Anything dropping? Any good news in here?
I can give you one little bit of good news. As we saw used cars and trucks down a little bit, 2.7% year over year. It looks like that's sort of related to new cars. The chip shortage, some of the things we saw going on the last couple of years, those supply chains have healed. So new car prices have at least stayed level or come down a little bit. So that's feeding through to used cars when we saw that huge spike in prices a few years ago.
We know that this inflation rate is a factor when the Fed looks at what they're going to do with interest rates. We had a pretty good jobs report last week. So a lot of analysts have been saying, I don't know if there's going to be an interest rate cut. President Trump has really been pushing for more and more interest rate cuts. His Fed chair pick is going to take over, Kevin Warsh. But inflation being up close to 4%, that's got to kind of weaken the case for cutting interest rates, right?
Well, yeah, I'll give you a couple of points on that. So the big probability models earlier this year, we're expecting 2 cuts this year, maybe another 1 or 2 next year. Those are wiped out. We are no longer, the big probability models not expecting any cuts this year or next. There's a slight, and I mean very slight bias for maybe a rate hike sometime later this year, depending on what happens with inflation. Yes, Kevin Warsh, the likely new Fed chair, is very aggressive on wanting some rate cuts. I think it's important to remember he's one of 12 voters that vote on these cuts.
Yeah.
The rest of the Fed, it seems very unlikely they're going to go along with rate cuts as inflation's trending in the wrong direction.
Pat, I mean, most analysts do agree with what the president is saying, which is as soon as the Iran war is over, gas prices, are going to drop like a rock. So how much do we read into this? I mean, is this rate almost entirely, because of the situation in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz?
I think so.
Yeah.
We've seen within the data, some of the tariff effects are definitely fading. And a lot of this, certainly the vast majority of it has to do with the Strait of Hormuz in the south of Iran. But if prices rise a lot faster than they are likely to come down. So as far as gas dropping like a rock, I would be cautious about that.
Yeah, it's never a rock.
Some relief
it's never a rock.
Yeah. It'll come down. But again, there's been a lot of energy producing infrastructure in that part of the region that's been damaged. And that's going to take months, quarters to get back up online before I think we see things sort of flow back to their natural rates.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind, we were at $60 or $70 a barrel before the war. We're at 100 now, and sort of the projection by the end of the year is that we'll be under 80. But that's still, as you said, that infrastructure situation, that's still not great. It's not $2.80 gas.
It's not. I think $3.25 right now is roughly what you could figure for what the oil futures have priced in for the end of the year, which is a lot better than I think $4.10 that I saw at the marathon by my house in Northeast Minneapolis today.
Not great. Pat Raykamp, really appreciate the insight. Pat's with 1834, part of Old National Bank. We appreciate you. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Jason. Talk to you later, bud.
I mean, the question now to you is, how patient are you? How patient are you? A lot of texts already coming in. 651-461-9226. $5 a gallon gas. Does that change your summer? Does that change your summer plans? I'll think twice. It's got me thinking about the car I want to buy next. I mean, I was already leaning towards a hybrid or an electric car anyway, but this makes that a no-brainer to me. I don't know. Is this going to change your behavior? If you see $5, because this is not like some sort of Trump derangement scenario. This is where it's going. And we've got what the president had to say about it on his way to China, too. So all of that coming up in just a minute here on Drive Time.
Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
Taste what porkcando.com. It's Jason here for my friends at the Minnesota Pork Board. And I can tell you tonight, Alyssa and I are going to dinner. And already I'm planning on some delicious Minnesota pork as a part of that equation. When you think about the weekend and Friday, Saturday, sound like we're going to get some nicer days out. I don't know. Do you guys have your grills up and ready to go? I had the charcoal in the grill on Mother's Day, fired up, ready to go. But sometimes I need recipe inspiration. And I love supporting our 3,000 family farmers, every corner of this state, working so hard to make sure the meat is lean, high in protein, safe, reliable, affordable. That's what Minnesota pork is. But you go to tastewhatporkcando.com. You can filter these recipes by cooking methods. So you go down to grilling, click apply filters, and boom, here come 3 pages full of recipes. How about grilled Dijon pork tenderloin and asparagus? The asparagus right now, farmers markets all over the place. Heck yeah. Habanero and honey, pork chops. That looks delicious too. Get to the website, get inspired, and get to your grocery store and butcher shop. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. Oh, yeah.
It's Staples' 40th anniversary, and they've got deals worth celebrating. Now through May 23rd, enjoy up to 50% off. Save on paper, chairs, custom print, balloons, and more. 4 decades in business deserve some seriously smart savings. Staples, that was easy.
Lunch was great, but this traffic is awful.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. Jason DeRusha.
One of the greatest human beings I've ever been around. He's just a wonderful human being. He's very caring. He's very loving.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
To what extent are American financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about American financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that motivates.
I mean, somebody's going to take that out of context, right? I don't care about Americans' financial situation, I believe was the quote that we just heard. Obviously, that's not exactly what the president meant, but saying that, yeah, gas prices are rough. It is going to be painful, but the president has convinced himself that American action was needed to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. I will tell you this, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think we have seen the second time in this Trump administration where the Trump administration miscalculated. They thought they'd come in, be the heavy, and it would be over. And they thought that was going to happen in Minneapolis with Operation Metro Surge. And they thought it was going to happen in Iran. And where they miscalculated here is that Minnesotans are stubborn and care about their neighbors. And the cold weather and brutish tactics were not going to keep people from standing up and saying, hell no. In Iran, they're religious extremists who have been taught for generations death to America. So they give zero you-know-what. So they'll fight it to the end. And so this thing has been going on for a long time. Texter says a few months of discomfort to rid Iran from the IRGC from the world is a minuscule price to pay. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is what that is.
If that's the ultimate outcome.
If that's the outcome. The question is this pain worth it for what we're going to get? Which what we're going to get is regime change from one anti-American extremist regime to another. Now, am I glad that we stuck it finally to Iran? I am. Can I handle a little discomfort? Like Michelle Tafoya said, can I cut back on a couple of visits to Starbucks in exchange for, a little more global security? Sure, of course. Am I going to bellyache about gas prices if I believe that what you're paying a price for is worth it? Yeah. But it's such the opposite of what we were told was going to happen. We were told there wasn't going to be more foreign wars, and we were told that gas prices were going to go down. Now, did I believe any of this? No. But I think a lot of voters did. Dan is in Hopkins. Dan, are you changing anything? I mean, if $5 a gallon gas comes, will that change anything for you?
You know what? I put on a lot of miles. I put on 50,000 miles last year.
Wow.
I do a lot of driving. But you know what? How about this? I understand Governor Tim Walz has raised gas prices by 60 cents or 40 cents a gallon since he took office. And in light of the We Push for Peace.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
What
did the governor do?
I thought, did he sign? And I may be wrong, Jason, and forgive me if I am.
I'm just trying to have clarity. Yeah.
I think that gas prices have gone up. The state tax on gas prices has gone up 40 cents a gallon since Tim Walz took office. He's proposed a big gas tax increase back in 2019, but the gas tax in Minnesota right now is 32.6 cents per gallon. That's the Minnesota portion of the gas tax. So what if we knock that down in half? What if we cut that in half? And then we get our money back from We Push for Peace and from all the fraud in government. How about we cut government by half? Start with 20%, maybe go to 50. What do you think of that idea?
I mean,
would that lower our prices?
They count like keeping government as is as a cut. So I would love to hear a cut in gas. And frankly, we proposed almost a month ago that the state of Minnesota should consider suspending its gasoline tax right now as we're in this sort of war effort with Iran. And today, President Trump said he would like to see the federal gas tax suspended. I think it's worth talking about. I think it's worth talking about for sure.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. But the governor did not raise the price of gas. He proposed a 20% gas tax increase to fund infrastructure, which didn't form that way. But you could certainly, if you want to say, did the governor make driving more expensive in Minnesota? Absolutely. With the new formula for license tabs. So But the gas tax here, actually, I don't think we need to be looking at raising any taxes in this state right now. But historically, I would say our gas tax is not necessarily keeping pace with inflation. That's sort of my view on it.
It's not keeping pace with inflation or the needs of our roads.
Right.
And that's only going to get worse as you have more people convert over to hybrids and electrics.
Well, they stick it to you with the electric.
They try to
a higher fee.
Is that enough? Is that compensate for what we lose? I mean,
Texter's coming in. It's not what he promised. It's not what he campaigned on. Another texter. I might not get my Mustang out of storage this year. Yeah, people have now look, like for most of us, the sacrifice of saying like, well, maybe I'll do one fewer road trip than these are sort of like nice problems to have. But if you're a lower middle class salesperson where you're on the road all the time, or you're an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, this is real money, This is real stuff. Jason, they totally miscalculated. Now they're throwing out reasons and rationale for us to sacrifice, even though we weren't even informed that they were going to be attacking. Congress didn't know. The UN didn't support this. So now they're coming up with the reasons, hoping that's enough. I think that's a good point, too. Our friend Blois Olson is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Hey, Blois.
Long-time listener, occasional caller. For accuracy purposes,
thank you.
The Minnesota gas tax was automatically indexed to inflation in May of 2023, meaning that it goes up with inflation. By the way, it never goes down. It only goes up. Therefore, Governor Walz did sign a gas tax increase.
I like it. Not a 40-cent gas tax increase.
No. But
that is significant. That calculate. That's a very good point.
So just want to make sure that you are fair, balanced, and accurate for Dan from Hopkins or wherever he's from.
It's, I have fact checked Dan, so you got me across the finish line. So thank you.
No problem.
Do you
it's
think
part of the service?
Would they consider? You think a gas tax suspension? Probably not in Minnesota with the way our legislature.
Think somebody would ask that. I've been thinking about posing that rhetorical question in the take. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll run a little poll.
I like it. I'll send you the YouTube link of the segment where we proposed it. There you go.
Well, how about that? Teamwork. Makes the dream work.
Thanks, Blois.
See ya.
Accuracy. So there you go. It's 4:29. DeRusha Eats is coming your way in just a minute. You guys are going to love this story. A 20-year-old in Stillwater just this week opened his own sandwich shop. He's got a pedigree, and I'm pretty sure he took care of me at a restaurant once in Stillwater. We'll visit not in Stillwater, in White Bear Lake. Ethan Sorensen will join us, talk about his sandwich shop in just a minute here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Do not wait to get your full body skin checkup. It's Jason for my partners, my friends, my dermatologist at TurinDermatology.com. Dr. Mohiba Turin is my dermatologist. She takes care of me, my wife, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my kids, because your skin is too important to leave it up to chance. It's too important to wait months and months and months to get an appointment. And Turin Dermatology guarantees that you will get in within 3 weeks. How do they do it? They've got locations all over the place. I go to Roseville, but I've been to their offices in Eagan and Hudson. They're in Sandstone and Osceola and Lindstrom and Lakeville and Faribault. They're all over the place. And why has Turin grown from just one practice run by Dr. Mohiba Turin to all of these different locations? It's because they know that you guys are waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get into your provider, and they want to bring that top-notch medical care right to you. Get that full body skin checkup. Skin cancer. My dad has had a bunch of it. You don't want to you don't want to mess around with this stuff. One website, you can request your appointment at any of those locations. TAREEN TerreneDermatology.com.
I solemnly swear that I will listen to News Talk 830 WCCO all day, every day.
Hey, I'll listen before I even leave the house.
I'll listen while brushing my teeth.
I'll listen in the shower.
I'll listen to Jason DeRusha's whole show twice.
Well, I'll listen in 2 rooms at the same time.
I will listen in 3.
I'll teach my dog to listen.
My dog already prefers me to eat a salt car.
I'll podcast it in my sleep.
I won't just listen. I'll take notes.
I will legally change my middle name to WCCO.
Okay. We do want you to listen longer, but it's a competition.
Are you hearing us?
Or is it? News Talk 830.
What was that?
WCCO.
Just want to make sure you can hear us.
Washburn Recruiting
I can hear, yeah.
Seminar for
Very good. We've got
funeral
you too.
information services to help protect your family in the future. Enjoy food. Visit with speakers from the Blaine Pre-Arrangement Center.
Hey, Pat,
Wednesday,
can you hear us
May
okay?
20th, 10:30 a.m. and
Yes, I
5:30
can.
p.m.
Very good. We've got you too. We'll be with you guys here in just a couple minutes.
612-377-7841.
Mark Linsky of L3 Family Wealth Partners. We look at things differently. Not that growth isn't important, but what's even more important is the protection, the preservation.
Listen to the Retirement Reality Report, Saturday at 11 on WCCO.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1102. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1102. That's 800-575-1102. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Save big money on everything you need right now at Menards. Get the long-lasting power you need with Energizer. Menards has the largest in-stock selection of Energizer batteries. They provide power for flashlights, remotes, and so much more. Hurry in, stock up on Energizer batteries and save big money. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Some tolling for crosstown eastbound, making the run 169 all the way out towards Cedar Avenue. South 35W slows, move between University all the way down to about 42nd Street. 394 watching slowdowns essentially both directions between Highway 100 and downtown Minneapolis. Over in St. Paul, South 35E congested, Roseland to 94. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan bringing us the forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The wind settles down tonight, finally. Clear sky down to 48. Mostly sunny tomorrow, not windy with a high of 72. Nice looking day. It gets warmer on Thursday, a high up around 77. We have a front coming through that's going to trigger some scattered showers. I think it arrives in the evening. Of course, it will be windy again. We should hit the low 80s by Friday.
Right now in downtown Minneapolis, it is 65 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour winds here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha, where the conversation's always in drive. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington on News Talk 830 WCCO.
She knows what I think about, and what I think about. Just eyes, you find out. Nothing I really want to tell you about, no, because it's too cold.
It is Tuesday. It is time for our conversation about local restaurants and a great story out of Stillwater. A young man who has decided it's time to take his future into his own hands, and he's opened his own restaurant. It's DeRusha Eats.
DeRusha. He has the eats.
Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like your favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard. Drive Time now transitions into DeRusha Eats.
And DeRusha Eats is brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board. Ethan Sorensen is 20 years old. He joins us live from E's Gourmet Sandwiches in downtown Stillwater via video link up. Ethan is also joined by Pat Weber. Pat is most definitely not 20 years old. No, Pat's been helping restaurants around Minnesota, around the country, open up for, 4 decades in this world. Let's start with Ethan. First couple days open, Ethan. Congratulations. How's it going?
Thanks, Jason. It's going great. Just been overwhelming support from the community this past week. I mean, even yesterday after the weekend, I was like, all right, it's Monday. It's probably gonna be a slow day. And nope, it was just a fantastic day. It was really good lunch and really good dinner too.
What made you say E's Gourmet Sandwiches, this is what I want to do? What made you say I'm going to open my own sandwich shop at the age of 20?
I've just always kind of wanted to be a business owner. I've always loved entrepreneurship, and I've also always loved restaurants and food, and just kind of finding, obviously, the intersection of that is a restaurant. And I've always loved my local sandwich shop and like just really fun vibes in sandwich shops, like tons of people piling in. It's a small crew working, just a quick counter service, and I also just am a big fan of sandwiches. So.
Tell us, you started working in restaurants, when you were 14, about the same age that my youngest son started working in restaurants. What was your first job?
My first job was at Admiral D's Waterfront Tavern right in White Bear Lake. But before that, I was helping my Aunt Jamie out at her restaurants, just doing random tasks like painting walls and all of that.
Jamie Malone is an incredible chef here in the Twin Cities, and you helped when she opened up Grand Cafe in South Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty fun.
What is it about restaurants? What draws you to that vibe?
It's the exhilaration and the just constantly having something going on. I probably have some crazy ADHD, but just all the things happening, all the action. I love being in it, and when it's super busy, that's like I'll be super stressed, but it's also my favorite time.
Pat Weber is also with us. You can watch our conversation on YouTube at the WCCO radio channel where we're streaming live. Pat, what made you say, I think this kid has a chance? Like, let's figure it out.
It's tough to say. His enthusiasm for this restaurant was clear the day we met. And just the casual way he talked about it and his vision, like it was just so authentic. And I always talk about authenticity being, the best success stories, because as long as you're doing what you love in a way that makes sense to you, then you're going to be successful. He found a great space. The community needed exactly what Ethan is delivering. And he's firing on all cylinders. They're doing well.
You're right on Myrtle Street, which is it's about a half block off, maybe a block or so off of the main Water Street Drive, but you're sort of by the, describe, you're next to No Neck Tony's, right?
Yeah, we're right next to No Neck Tony's. Yeah, like you said, like half block off Myrtle or off Main Street. A lot of people say Myrtle's kind of like one of the more popular entry points into Stillwater, especially if you're coming from kind of other east suburbs and stuff. So yeah, it's a great fun location.
Tell me, when you sort of dreamt up the menu, what were the sandwiches? You wanted a casual vibe. It's not a full service thing. It's a sandwich shop. But what kind of sandwiches did you want on your menu?
Well, I knew from the start, like I wanted to impress and show what like sandwiches aren't just that convenience snack. They're not your, mustard and ham or mayo and turkey kind of sandwich. They can be a lot more than that. And so I spent, like a month just looking at sandwich shops all the way in California and Utah, just looking at their menus and just studying and trying to find like just fun ideas and people pushing the boundaries and really, not being too chefy, but keeping it approachable, but having some more fun flavors and stuff. And then I brought like 100 ideas to Pat, and and we took it from there.
That's part of the process, right, Pat? Like you've helped so many people open restaurants. But trying to cull down the menu into like what is unique and what can be executed, sometimes that's where like the creative talent matches up with your expertise, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many conversations about the foods that he likes and the sort of sandwich building. It's it's really a science, building it with the bread and meat and cheese and whatever sauces. And I honestly say he's a natural. I mean, everything that's on this menu is Ethan's idea. And I have projects where I'm doing a lot more of the heavy lifting when it comes to the culinary and the menu. For this, we just partnered in a way that he has the idea and we figure out together how to execute. So it's been a pleasure to work with him because it's just been such a fun collaboration.
Ethan, what's the top 3 sandwiches people should order to get the full Ease Gourmet sandwich experience?
If you're coming in at lunch, the turkey avocado has been the best seller at lunch. It's just super fresh and it's very summery. We do warm up the turkey, but it's served with sliced avocado. I really liked the slice versus the mash. I feel like you get more texture and flavor from that avocado. And then fresh tomato, pepper jack, and cheddar cheese. And then our green goddess aioli we make in-house, which is, again, a lot of just fresh herbs. At night, if you're coming at night and looking for something more dinnery in a way, the crispy hot chicken worked weeks on that. Pat will tell you I lost sleep over that sandwich. 3 different spice blends, the marinade, the flour, and the actual Nashville sauce. And we kind of perfected it. It's got pickles, lettuce, and a really good elevated garlic and herb aioli to kind of cut the heat. The Philly and Stilly has been another really good seller. Yeah.
The chicken sandwich. So chicken sandwiches are so hot right now. It's sort of unbelievable. The Reuben looks. This is a Reuben? What do we have here?
That's the Reuben, and Pat and I worked a lot on the pastrami for that. We cook that in house. It's 12 hours. So last night at like 9 p.m. I throw 4 briskets in the oven, and they cook all night. I come in the morning, I pull them out, let them chill a little bit, and then we slice them for the day. And we sold three entire pastrami briskets yesterday, and last night put 4 in, so we went sell out today.
And that's how you have to do it, right?
5 for tomorrow.
Oh
yeah, exactly.
Goodness. Just crazy. What has been, this is a bit of a financial risk. I think some people are going to wonder, all right, how does a 20-year-old, how do you do it? How do you do it? How did you sort of get the funding and be able to pay the rent and some of the nuts and bolts of it?
Yeah, Jason, I served you at Aqua.
That's right.
2 years ago. So I spent a lot of time front of house serving and saving money from that.
Ethan, I don't know that my tip that night paid for you to open a sandwich shop.
It contributed, Jason. It contributed. We wouldn't be here without you. So just saving from all my restaurant jobs. I did marketing for the Lake Elmo Inn for the past year and a half. Got some money from that, and then I also applied for a small business loan through the government, and I got approved for that. So that's kind of helped as well.
It's pretty cool.
We are running a really lean budget. We're trying to Pat will tell you, we've just tried to keep this smart and approachable, and not try to spend money in bad places that are unnecessary.
And Pat, part of the deal, and we're talking with Ethan Sorensen, who is the owner and chef behind Ease Gourmet Sandwiches, Pat Weber from Mise en Place Consulting, a mentor and part of this project as well. But Pat, when you look at, price point is such a conversation right now. So many people are talking about cutting back on eating out, But when I look at your menu, I mean, all of these sandwiches, everything is sort of in the $11 to $15 range. Pretty approachable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you deliver great product and keep it simple, not a lot of amenities, it's a pretty simple dining experience. It's very cute. But yeah, we didn't spend $500,000 on furniture and fixtures and all of the things. It's you know, it is what it is. It's a beautiful historic building. The space had a great vibe and great energy. So him and his family didn't have to do a lot to it. They just decorated it themselves. So yeah, he did a really good job of keeping to budget. This is, I must say, in 20 years of opening restaurants, I can't remember a restaurant that got open with less money than what Ethan did. and that's 20 years. That's going back. I mean, that's what you have to do, and he's smart about it.
It's so cool. I'm just so excited for you. I think it's, you know, when you look at a little bit the reputation that people your age have, I think part of the reason that this story has been so interesting, Ethan, is that people think like, I don't know, are these 20-year-olds?
Well, I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm having troubles hearing right now.
Oh, we got you. We got you. Yep, you sound all right. You sound all right. Sometimes that happens with these video link ups. But Ethan, if you can't hear me, do you got me or no? Sounds like no. Sounds like he can't hear me. That's all right. We're going to wrap it up because I think Ethan left it at a great spot. Pat, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jason.
And Ethan Sorensen.
Back in. Sorry, I'm in the basement here.
That's how it works when you're a small business person, right? You're not wasting all that money on Wi-Fi, Ethan. So you're doing it right. Very good. All right, Ethan Sorensen, go see him in Stillwater. He's at Big E's Gourmet Sandwiches. That's DeRusha Eats. Pretty cool stuff. And Ethan was a great server. He took care of me at Aqua and White Bear Lake as well. Drive Time with DeRusha back in just a minute here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Want to talk to you about J.H. and Sons at the Galleria in Edina. And if you follow me on social media, you saw this weekend kind of glammed up. I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 different charity events this weekend, and everything I wore was from J.H. and Sons. Some were casual. One was like a rooftop bar, springtime night out. Another was a tuxedo for a black tie event. That's what J.H. and Sons can bring to the table for you. So many incredible people, generations of service, all thanks to Jeff Halberstadt and his family's legacy. Maybe you've been to Halberstadt's in St. Cloud.
What's up, guys?
It was the premier men's clothing store. Well, Jeff is the son who went in his own direction, creating this beautiful brand of premium men's clothing store right at the Galleria in Edina. Now, wedding season, yes. Graduation,
yeah,
yes.
nice
You
to
need a
meet you too.
suit. How about an unstructured sport coat, which is for sure the look of the summer right now. It's casual yet dressed up a little bit. Frankly, it's good enough for you to wear to work.
Just trying to keep up on product and stuff.
Go visit the experts. You tell them what you've got coming on. They'll make sure that you are set with something that fits you great and looks amazing. Have that confidence that comes from dressing well. Do it at J.H. & Sons. You can sign up for their email list on their website, which is jhandsons.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Talking construction law today with Blake Nelson, an attorney from Helmuth and Johnson. Blake, why is having the right legal support so important?
One delay, one payment issue, or one contract mistake can put an entire project at risk and be the difference between making and losing money. In Minnesota, contract terms, timing, and documentation matter.
How does Helmuth and Johnson help?
We help contractors, subcontractors, and property owners protect their rights, get paid, and keep projects moving.
Learn more at hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth and Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all your construction law needs.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
$4 a gallon gas. Let's save some money at Luther Kia of Bloomington. Jason here from my Kia Connection. Right now, they've got more than 90 electric and hybrid Kias on the lot. I just test drove the EV6. So much fun, and I can drive to and from work for 2 weeks on a single charge. The hybrid Kia Sorento SUV gets great mileage on the highway. The red hot Telluride has a hybrid too. Check them out at LutherKiaofBloomington.com, where 35W and 494 come together. Tell them Jason sent you.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
We're going to find some slowdowns trying to make our way into downtown Minneapolis. Update brought to you by Whole Foods Market. North 35W jammed up as come in from 42nd Street into the downtown stretch. East 94 crash near Dale Street's been taken care of. Traffic-wise, still a bit sluggish as you make your way through that stretch coming in from Lexington Avenue. Traveling northbound 35E, get ready for some slowdowns there as you come up from Highway 13. Shop self-care staples at Whole Foods Market. Get 33% off body care and candles with Prime through May 12th. Stock up on your favorites or gift a new relaxation routine for mom while supplies last. Shop in-store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Ready to actually trust the water from your faucets and take the worries away, whether it is city or well. Aquarius Home Services, your independent authorized Connecticut dealer, kicks your water worries out the door. Visit AquariusHomeservices.com to schedule your free water test today.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days.
All right, we are going to get a break from the wind finally. Tonight, things should calm down. Low of 48. Tomorrow's going to be beautiful. 72 is the high, mostly sunny, and winds only 8 to 10 miles an hour. Thursday, rain in the evening. High of 77 during the day, though. Windy again. 80s by Friday. Sunday, soaking rain possible. Right now, it's 66, and the wind is blowing about 20 miles an hour in Minneapolis on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
We've been doing this for years. It's stupid. It is not what regular people care about. It's just like an absolute circus.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
I can feel something heavy on my heart. I can feel something's tearing me apart. I can
Continental
feel
Diamond time check right now is 4:55. I was over at Continental Diamond in St. Louis Park earlier today, right where 394 and Highway 100 meet up. Go visit. Check out their inventory at their website, continentaldiamond.com. Incredible selection of pre-owned watches. So last night, Alyssa and I decided to stay in and watch the Wild game. And we are sort of bandwagon fans a little bit. Like, I watch the Wild during the regular season, but not a ton. I'm not a great hockey mind. But there was about an 18-minute stretch during that game last night that
the Wild had 0 shots on goal. I know we have 2 players who are injured. Now, if this were the PWHL, they probably would have suspended the game. We had 2 guys hurt. So you got to wait till tomorrow, see if they're feeling better. But this is a rough one last night. Wild kept it close up until it was way closer than the score made it appear. If you check the gamer at the end, you're like, whoa, the Wild got killed. No, it was very close. One of the fun things about living right in downtown St. Paul is that you can hear. So, like, we heard the cheer from the Wild's first goal before we saw it on our TV, which is, I don't know, growing up, like, thinking about how cool it would be to live near Wrigley Field where you could hear the cheers. It must be like that living by Target Field for the Twins, right? It's just kind of cool. It was fun last night to hear the cheers. It was not fun that we didn't hear more of them. Got to shoot a little more, that's for sure. We're going to talk about audiobooks and if they count as reading at the top of the hour. We love if you subscribe to our podcast. You can find Drive Time with DeRusha anywhere, and you can hear at the start of the show my hot take about the Frost who are playing tonight.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Since taking office, I have delivered more than $65 million in investments back to our district. I'm also fighting to hold ICE agents accountable in Minneapolis. First and foremost, my office is here to help you. If you need to resolve issues with your Social Security or veteran benefits, please reach out to my team at omar.house.gov. When Washington isn't working for you, I will.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of
Sherry got a big red check.
Get your money and you can move on.
Jack got a big red check.
It just makes the moving process a breeze.
Nanette got a big red check.
They just make it very easy.
John got a big red check.
There is value in simplicity and ease.
Rosalind got a big red check.
Get this check, put it in the bank. My house is in good hands.
Angela got a big red check.
The fresh start has been amazing to us.
Say yes to a guaranteed cash offer on your house and get your big red check today. Apply right now at chrislindahl.com.
Your house today. At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Spring is showing up and showing out. Give your yard its own moment with limited time deals from Lowe's. Grab select 1.5-gallon annuals hanging baskets, 2 for only $15. Plus, we've got Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for just $10. A little dirt, a little color, and we are so back. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid 5/7 through 5/13. Selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
News Talk 830 WCCO, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump says he's looking forward to his visit to China. CBS's Linda Kenyon reports.
Speaking to reporters at the White House before the start of his trip, the president was optimistic.
This is going to be a very exciting trip. A lot of good things are going to happen.
When questioned if he will ask China's President Xi for help in ending the war against Iran.
No, I don't think we need any help with Iran. We'll win it one way or the other. We'll win it peacefully or otherwise.
China buys a lot of its oil from Iran, and some members of the Trump administration have been urging President Xi to exert his influence over that country to help end the war. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth headed back to Capitol Hill to defend the Pentagon's $1.5 trillion budget request before the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Defense. Some lawmakers have requested more details about the cost of the war with Iran. California Democrat Pete Aguilar has asked Secretary Hegseth.
Is the theory to create more ceasefires or more projects just to evade the War Powers Act?
The theory of the entire case is to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon.
President Trump's plan to put weapons in space will come with a much heftier price tag than he originally said, and CBS's Cammie McCormick reports.
A Congressional Budget Office analysis suggests the cost could be $1.2 trillion for 20 years. That's significantly higher than what President Trump mentioned last year, $175 billion. The system is inspired by Israel's Iron Dome and would detect and intercept missiles at all stages of an attack. Trump wants it to be operational when his term ends in 2029.
After 10 weeks of the war with Iran, the Consumer Price Index shows that inflation is accelerating. This puts the Federal Reserve in a position where it's unlikely to lower interest rates anytime soon. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Clearly, they are monitoring whether the inflationary impact of the war will bleed through for a longer period of time and impact other parts of the economy. For now, prices are higher and wages overall are not keeping up with this recent spike in prices.
Colorado authorities identified the man who was fatally struck by a plane on a runway at Denver International Airport last Friday. The Frontier Airlines plane attempting to take off hit 41-year-old Michael Mott after he scaled a perimeter fence. The medical examiner rules Mott's death a suicide. Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas adds,
"As we speak, investigators are out continuing to contact family and others who knew him to see if there are additional information that we can learn about his motivations."
Stocks closed mixed on Wall Street. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
65 and cloudy at 5:03. Good evening. I'm Mark Fry. This hour's top story: Minnesotan who's aboard the MV Hondias cruise ship has now tested positive for hantavirus. The Minnesota Department of Health says they've been in contact with a person who is likely exposed overseas and that the person currently does not have symptoms. MDH goes on to say they want people to be aware that the risk of spread is still very low and that person-to-person spread is usually limited to people who have close contact with an infected person with symptoms. Hospital administrators from Greater Minnesota are at the state capitol today, urging lawmakers to pass a bill that they say will help them stay afloat.
From Blue Earth County in southern Minnesota to Cook County in the north, hospital administrators are calling on members of the Minnesota House to pass a bill that will keep a federal drug pricing program from ending. It would require pharmaceutical companies to reimburse nonprofit hospitals for certain drugs, with that money then used to keep services available like labor and delivery, ambulance service, and behavioral health. Rick Ash is Chief Executive Officer of United Hospital District in Blue Earth County.
At the end of the day, this is not theoretical. This is not political theater. This is important. This is about people's lives. This is about communities. It's about health and wellness.
Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Emergency room doctors in the Twin Cities are turning up the pressure on lawmakers to pass gun reform before the end of the session. The Senate has passed a bill including a ban on assault weapons as well as other safety measures. Dr. Tricia Valusek was among the group. She treated some of the children killed in a mass shooting at Annunciation Church last summer.
It doesn't go away. I mean, that was 9 months ago. And it still wakes me up at 3 a.m.
It's unlikely that the House will vote on the bill as it has yet to go through the committee process, and Republicans have a one-seat majority. The Minnesota Timberwolves are on the road tonight facing the San Antonio Spurs in the best of the 7 series, which is tied at 2 games apiece. The Spurs will have their 7-foot star Victor not fine or suspend the big man after Sunday's flagrant foul on the Spurs loss to the Wolves at Target Center. Here's Anthony Edwards.
I mean, everybody know the rim's going to be a lot more open when he's not on the floor. But for them offensively, yeah, they play a lot more loose when he's not on the floor also. But, yeah, I mean, he's 8 feet tall. So he going to cover up the rim anytime he's on the floor.
And tip-off is set for 7. Minnesota Frost fans expected to be loud tonight during the team's official Game 5 watch party at a bar of their own in Minneapolis. A Frost win over Montreal would put them in the finals. Bar owner Jillian Hiscock says she expects a capacity crowd well before puck drop.
We've been lucky to be the official watch party for the Minnesota Frost, so they have staff on hand to do some fun giveaways and other things for fans. We hand out earplugs because it gets so loud in there that it can be hard for some folks. So lots and lots of excitement for this team for sure.
And the puck drop is set for 5:06.
Well, unless somebody has a cold and they need to cancel it again. Ugh. No, nobody wants to join me on this crusade, Mark. I don't know why. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
I love that I started the news at 3:00 and this is still just
I didn't bring it back until now. It's a new audience. It's a new audience at 5:00. You guys missed my borderline sexist / offensive remarks about the PWHL. Should I bring it back for the 5:00 audience, or should we move
That's
forward?
up to your producer. I'm not producing the show.
And if we took a vote, if we said what would be the smartest idea for this show, what would you say?
Oh, the smartest? Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes into what's the smartest decision, Jason. I mean, you can't just decide that on the spot.
Is smartest the threshold for this show?
Not usually.
I'd love to argue that it was, but we have a lot of tape of evidence to the contrary. No doubt about it. Well, you guys can text in if you want to hear more about the PWHL canceling. 651-461-9226.
And just how angry Jason is about it.
But otherwise, I have other things I'm angry about that we could talk about.
That sounds good, too.
Every day, I sort of collect a bucket of things that make me mad. And that's what we do this show about.
Can't believe you're worried about old man smell.
I think it's time for traffic. And
all right, hit the thing. Here we
Glens
go.
Hills Resources Pine Bend Refinery in Rosemont produces important transportation fuels used throughout the Midwest, but they're also active in the community. They support many programs and organizations that make Minnesota better. Go to FHR.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And then brought to you by Flint Hills Resources. Slowdowns in place, South 169, 494, all the way down to Highway 101, 35W southbound jammed up, 98th Street as you head down toward Highway 13. Got your slowdowns in Minneapolis, 94, both directions, basically between 55 and the area of Huron Boulevard. 694 westbound is a bit slow as you come in from Highway 10 over to Highway 252. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
You sit on your deck and you're sick of looking at your crappy siding. Type JTR on your computer for roofing, siding, gutters, windows, and more. JTR Roofing has you covered from the roof on down, serving the Twin Cities Metro. For a free estimate, visit jtrroofinginc.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And the weather is brought to you by JTR Roofing. Here's Chris Schaefer.
The clouds will clear out. The wind will settle down to the 5 to 10 mile per hour range. We'll drop back to 48 overnight tonight. Tomorrow looks nice, mostly sunny, slightly warmer than average with a high of 72. And this will be one of the few non-windy days. Northwest wind 8 to 10. Now that wind does pick up again on Thursday. We have a front coming through. That's going to trigger some showers by evening after a high of 77.
65 and cloudy at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Still Minnesota's heartbeat. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha, fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, let's do a smorgasbord of topics in the 5 o'clock hour, because why not? There's a lot to talk about. I want to start with Adrian Peterson going into the Ring of Honor
Now shut up and drive.
for the Minnesota Vikings. This was sort of a surprise announcement that the Vikings made on social media. And it goes to the complexity of honoring people with complicated lives. And for me, Adrian Peterson is a particularly challenging person because I remember vividly the year that it came out that Adrian Peterson used a tree branch to beat his 4-year-old son. And Peterson called it a switch and said, you know, this was, when I was a child, this was used on me. And he paid a price. The Vikings deactivated him for one game. And then he was put on the exempt list for the rest of the season. So he didn't play that season, right? And then he pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor thing. But what I remember about that is sort of the parenting challenge when you have a young kid who is a hardcore Vikings fan. And this goes on. And I remember Sam, who was 7 years old and had an Adrian Peterson jersey, because didn't every kid in Minnesota have every Vikings fan was an Adrian Peterson fan, right? I mean, you think about some of those seasons, that 2012 season where he had almost 2,100 yards rushing. I mean, Adrian Peterson is an absolute Vikings legend. Does he belong in the Ring of Honor? 651-461-9226. For me, Adrian Peterson is at once the greatest running back in Minnesota Vikings history and a really problematic human being. At least at that snapshot, right? Like that was 2014. The bigger question is, when we honor people for their professional achievements, when does their personal problems become disqualifying? It's tricky, Dan. You and I have talked about this a lot on this show, that just because you excel in a certain level, you have no right to being in a Hall of Fame or to have something named after you or whatever. There is always a different standard, and there's a different honor that comes in when you say you're in the Ring of Honor. It's right in the freaking name, honor. I suppose the simple question is just, do you think he should be in? At 651-461-9226. I struggle, but I think yes.
Well, I mean, there's no objective line that you can draw.
Where's the line?
That you say, this person deserves to be in, this person doesn't deserve to be in. It's subjective any way you do it. And so it's the organization that decides who belongs and who doesn't belong, and they have every right to do that. And so if they've decided that Adrian Peterson belongs, then who am I or anybody else to say, no, they don't? As a fan, do I feel great about it? Nah, not really. Especially not because you can, even with the stuff with his kid, you could say, and that's a while ago now, and there hasn't been any repeat behavior in that regard. So let's cut the guy a break and move on. But then you throw in the, driving under the influence and some of the other mistakes that he's made later in his life. And in that collective picture, it becomes more problematic to me. So I'm certainly not going to tell the Vikings, no, you shouldn't put him in the Ring of Honor. I'm also not going to buy tickets to the game to go see him, be inducted either. You know what I'm saying? That's sort of where I draw the line.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. I think you're actually being too kind about it.
Probably.
As a fan, you absolutely have the right to say whether or not you think someone should be in your team's Ring of Honor. Obviously, they can do whatever they want.
Right.
But it's not the Mark Wilf Ring of Honor. It's the Vikings Ring of Honor. And I think
which Mark Wilf owns. I mean,
yeah, I just disagree with that idea that you don't have you absolutely have a right to have
fans can say whatever they want. I don't. It's the expectation that the organization should bow to their will on something like this that I find silly. You can say anything you want. You can believe anything you want.
Well, the whole point of having a Ring of Honor is do you think it's for the organization or it's more for the fans? I think it's more for the fans myself.
I mean, it's why is the organization why does the NFL do anything to try and make money? So this is another way of them trying to capture the interest and the money of fans, to be completely cynical about it.
Well, it's a business. I think that's
what they do.
Yeah.
So is it for the fans? And I mean, if the fans want to believe that, they can. The organization isn't doing it because they want to do the fans a solid. They're doing it because they think they can make money.
I don't know. I have to think about that. I mean, can they make more money? Like the games are all
Always.
sold out.
Always. The
Well,
NFL
how
can
does this make the Vikings
always
any
find
money?
a way to
All
make
right, well,
more money.
we're going in the wrong direction. We're going in the wrong direction. Texters weighing in. I say no. Another texter says, of course, Adrian should be in. He's one of the greatest Vikings running backs of all time. Great player, great person, whatever else you think is BS. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the man. I just know 2 drunk driving arrests over the past year. And then, I mean, I think it's the big issue. It's that 2014. It's the switch thing. And I don't know. To me, like, should that be is that a lifetime sentence for that? Here's another texter saying he was a great player. He can be honored professionally only. Whipping a child is absolutely wrong. He was a poor example of, as a parent, he infuriates me. Now, another texter says, I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but the same discussion could be had about the memorials for George Floyd based on his conduct. I would say I do think there's a massive misunderstanding as to what the purpose is of memorials for George Floyd. To me, it is a memorial to the symbol of what that moment happened. It is not in any way honoring the noble life that George Floyd lived. It's about that moment in history. And so that's sort of where that kind of comparison falls apart to me. Let's go to Kevin and Anoka. Kevin, what do you think? Adrian Peterson, should he be in the Ring of Honor or not?
Absolutely. When a child refuses to obey their parent, they need to learn to fear their parent and do what they're told from adults. I'm so sick and tired of these children running around like adults have absolutely no say. They're wind up becoming criminals because they were never disciplined.
I think there's a big difference between a spanking and a whipping.
When a child refuses to come and ignores you, so what happens the next time he doesn't come and he runs out and gets killed in the street?
I mean, that's quite a journey there. But
okay,
you
or
telling
he's
me,
running through the parking lot,
Kevin,
gets
are
run
you?
over.
I mean, he was charged in court. He pled guilty. I think, Kevin, you would agree that using a tree branch to whip a kid is too far. Yes or no?
No.
You think you should be able to whip a child with a tree branch?
The child needs to learn to fear and respect and do what they're told. And you do that when they're 5, but when they're 15 years old, it's too late.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. I totally disagree with that. And just because there are ways that you were disciplined as a child, part of why I guess I would give Adrian Peterson more of a break on this is that it was how he was disciplined as a child. And even though it was wrong, I think at least you can understand sort of how he ended up thinking that that was an acceptable thing to do. Kevin, I don't know, man. Like, come on. Like, we could have a debate about spanking. I think that's something a lot of parents debate. I'll tell you, myself raising my kids, you have that moment where you're like, are we doing this? Are we not doing this? Like, there are always better ways. No one else is going to call in and defend the switch, right? That's some Kevin. That's like next level Kevin right there. Weigh in 651-461-9226. Drive time back in a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about Livia. And I talk about Livia weight control centers. You know that Livia changed my life. There's no question about it. I lost 45 pounds with the help of the Livia weight control team. And I started on that journey 4 years ago. Now, part of what I love about how Livia has evolved is the fact that today Livia is looking at health. Well, they're doing it more formally. It's the same thing they were doing with me, to be honest with you. It's a holistic picture. They were setting things up for me to succeed, a personalized plan. For me, it was nutrition. That was the award-winning nutrition program. But today, Livia Medical looks at GLP-1, the medical weight loss drugs. They look at hormone replacement. They're looking at everything, man. They just want you to feel like yourself again. That's all. You set the goal. They help you go down that path. Livia.com, Livea.com, or make the phone call. Do it today because you could lose 10 pounds or more by the start of summer. So why not? Change your life and change your life to feel like you again. It'll change your life too. Livia.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1102. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1102. That's 800-575-1102. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Maintaining a larger home while you were younger and were raising a family might have been worth it. But now that your kids are older, and so are you, could be more work than you want, admit it. If you're thinking about downsizing, you need to call my friends from the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. It's Vanita here. Lowell and Linda have been hearing me tell you about the good neighbor agent and the client success stories for years. When they were ready to downsize, they knew they had to give John a call. The Schuster Group specializes in senior relocation services. They also specialize in marketing, really important, which helps their home sellers sell their houses fast and for the most money possible. That makes the next stage of life a lot easier. It only took John 16 days to find Lowell and Linda a buyer. Curious what your home is worth? Find out in seconds on johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Can you blow my mind?
Something that you put hard work, dedication into, and it turns into being in the Minnesota Vikings Ring of Honor? Brother, that is special. Look at this, brother.
Wow.
Look at this, man.
Wow. That got me, man. This is this is amazing, man.
So that's John Randall inducting Adrian Peterson into the Ring of Honor. This was out at TCO, the Vikings headquarters. I just think it's an interesting situation with Adrian Peterson, who in my mind just occupies this sort of complicated space because of that. And it's primarily because of that parenting discussion, that discussion with my son, who is 7, who decided to take his Adrian Peterson jersey and put it away. He put it away. And I'd be curious how he feels about it today, right? Let's go to Shane in Cottage Grove. I mean, he's unquestionably the most successful running back, most rushing yards, the greatest running back in Minnesota Vikings history. On his performance alone, he for sure should be in the Ring of Honor. Shane, how do you sort of weigh this stuff?
Well, I think I have to hope that at a certain point we can get to a place societally where we can have two truths be there at the same time. And to your point, he is unquestionably one of the best players to ever wear purple. There's just no question.
Yeah.
And I think of what that meant and the memories that it created for people across the state and fans in the region, it's worth honoring that because that drove happiness for people. But at the same time, you also have to be able to hold the individual outside of just that performance and be able to say, look, what this person did.
Yeah.
Your previous caller, Kevin, the comment he made, I think he used the words both fear and respect a couple times. You don't drive respect from you, right? And I think using this moment to be able to teach our kids and maybe ourselves a little bit that there's more nuance than just a soundbite. This person's bad, this person's good, and that's it, would go a long way to helping everybody understand each other just a little bit better.
Really good call. Thank you, Shane. That is exactly right. And I do think, and a texter says, geez, Jason, we're not talking O.J. Simpson here. And I think that's right. I don't think I'm treating it in a way where I'm saying like he's an accused killer. I mean, there are players in professional sports who are accused of domestic violence, right? And people sort of look past that. I think we all look past the errant behavior of our team members, right? If you're on our team, we sort of tend to look past that stuff. And I don't know. I sometimes think like that we could apply some of the forgiveness and the benefit of the doubt that we give to sports heroes to like regular people, but we sure don't, right? They should all be locked up and throw away the key, but like, oh, Adrian, like, hey, I get it. The other reality, and a texter points out like, hey, there are a lot of people on that Ring of Honor that are probably questionable human beings, and we didn't know about it or we didn't have the media environment or whatever. And I think that's probably true. Texter asks, is a belt or wooden spoon different than a switch? I think legally, if you used a belt on someone today, you'd probably have some troubles. I think the law does give parents a lot of latitude, but look, Adrian Peterson was prosecuted in the South. So it's not like he was prosecuted up here for that. Go to Jeff in Sauk Rapids. Jeff, Adrian Peterson, in or out in your view?
Well, I'll give you some context. I was born in 1952, and as a kid, spankings were common, and kids actually expected it.
Yep.
However, my mother's preferred weapon was a leather pony whip, and she had been nominated for Mother Teresa's Women's Basketball Ring of Honor. I would say absolutely not. And the same goes for Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I get that too. Thanks, Jeff. Texters are all over the place on this. I think it's interesting. A texter says you got to remember he was suspended. He paid a penalty, lost probably one of the best years of his career. Yeah, it's true. We can forgive him. We just don't need to honor him, says another texter.
I think that's a key hair to split. And it is splitting a hair, but it's an very
That's why I wanted to
one.
bring this up because I think it's a valid conversation to have. Yeah. And I don't necessarily know the answer. I do think you sort of end up weighing both of these things where you're like, he wasn't just a good player. He was a great all-time legendary player. And so when you weigh that against the negatives, well, maybe it weighs out. Or you can say like the switch thing was maybe less forgivable than the 2 drunk driving arrests over the last year.
We talk all the time about how we look at drunk driving societally as
Yeah.
Perhaps less than the important crime that it is. So,
Right.
you can have that whole debate. But I think back to Shane's point, you say, well, you weigh one against the other. Well, do you have to, or is this, a holistic look, right? That yes, he was an amazing player and he did these horrible things. And we can say both of those things
That's
at the same
fine,
time.
yeah.
One doesn't have to cancel out the other.
Texter says people are complicated. Do we only honor perfect people? Well, how do you decide what are the disqualifying things? There are certain things that for all of us would be disqualifying, and I suspect that a lot of us would have different factors that would end up being disqualifying. Let's break in just a minute. Greg Swan explains the internet. Why are influencers all over the country and here in Minnesota up in arms about the idea of an influencer trip to the Minnesota State Fair? What's going on? We'll talk to Greg about that in just a minute here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored
Hey, you
by
hear
the
us okay?
University of Maryland Global.
Yep.
Got you loud and
Hertz
clear.
Uber
Very
are
good.
expanding their
Do
partnership
it,
as the car rental company takes on fleet management services for Uber's upcoming robotaxi fleet. Hertz says the mobility business is changing, and the company's Oro Mobility will handle services like charging, maintenance, cleaning, and depot staffing for Uber's robotaxis. With that service launching later this year, with Uber using autonomous vehicles made by Lucid. I'm Jason Brooks.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHAP.
Are you overpaying for your home and auto insurance? And frankly, how would you even know? It's Jason here with a solution. The Canopy Group. That's what I did when I was unsure about what I was paying. I've heard the Canopy Group messages here on WCCO radio for years, and so I just picked up the phone and called. I called 800-967-3389, and Kyle picked up the phone and said, I just need to know, what is your premium? What are your deductibles? What's your coverage? Took about 10 minutes, and then Kyle went to work, taking my scenario, my zip code, my house, my kid's age, what my cars were, and he put it through 16 different insurance companies. That's the Canopy Group difference. Most of us have one insurance guy or gal with one insurance company. That's it. No choices. The Canopy Group essentially comparison shops for you. And they do it year after year after year. You never have to call them back and remind them to make sure you're getting the best deal. And I can tell you this because they reach out to me every year and they're like, hey, we're just running you through the 16 again just to make sure you have the best coverage at the best price. It's pretty cool. Saves me time, saves me money, gives me peace of mind that I have the best coverage for the best price. TheCanopyGroup.com. You can get a quote right there online if you don't want to talk to Kyle. Or call that 800 number, 967-3389.
Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. We got a show and it's Guys and Dolls at Chanhassen and Dinner Theaters. It's terrific and delicious because you got dinner and a show. Don't take my word. Everybody's loving it. The Pioneer Press called it a must-see. Star Tribune called it eye-popping and blazing with brilliance. I heard a lady from Eden Prairie say this is the best show she's ever seen at the Chan. Grab your doll or your guy. Get your family over here for Guys and Dolls. Visit ChanHasn'tDP.com.
$4 a gallon gas? Let's save some money at Luther Kia of Bloomington. Jason here from my Kia Connection. Right now, they've got more than 90 electric and hybrid Kias on the lot. I just test drove the EV6. So much fun, and I can drive to and from work for 2 weeks on a single charge. The hybrid Kia Sorento SUV gets great mileage on the highway. The red hot Telluride has a hybrid too. Check them out at LutherKiaofBloomington.com, where 35W and 494 come together. Tell them Jason sent you.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Got the slowdowns place. Travel along 35W northbound as make way between 46th Street and downtown Minneapolis. West 94 still sluggish as you come in from here on Boulevard to the downtown stretch. Up on the north side, you'll find 694 slows in both directions between Shingle Creek Parkway and Highway 10. USPS Ground Advantage reliable route. That's going to be 494 southbound, free flowing Highway 55 all the way down to 212. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan. Here is Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The wind settles down tonight, finally. Clear sky down to 48. Mostly sunny tomorrow, not windy with a high of 72. Nice looking day. It gets warmer on Thursday, a high up around 77. We have a front coming through that's going to trigger some scattered showers. I think it arrives in the evening. Of course, it will be windy again. We should hit the low 80s by Friday.
Right now in Blaine, it is 65 degrees and very windy on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
Nothing. It just turns into nothing so quickly.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
From viral chaos to tech, pretend to understand. What's next? Let's find out. This is Greg Swan explains the internet.
Greg Swan is with us via video link up. You can check us out as we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Greg, it's good to see you.
Hello from New York City. Thank you for letting me zooming in to chat about the internet today. Oh my gosh.
Well, both of our Threads algorithms have been full of a debate about, well, something that I thought was sort of crazy how mad Minnesotans got about this. Explain what's going on with an out-of-state sort of influencer who said that it'd be cool to do a brand trip to the Minnesota State Fair.
So 107 days from today is the start of the Minnesota State Fair. Usually around this time of year, if we're hearing about the Minnesota State Fair, it's because of a new grandstand act, which they announced this week with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Awesome. Maybe they were hearing about the annual kickoff to the Summer of the Fair, which is coming up in a couple weekends. Or maybe it's that registration opened for these competitive exhibits, right? That's what we tend to hear about in May. But there's a national influencer. Her name is Suzanne Lambert. And if you don't know her, she's a DC-based comedian, political content creator. She posted a thread and said, I posted a joke that wasn't really a joke about wanting to do a brand trip like Coachella, but for the Minnesota State Fair. And I think it's actually happening, y'all. OMG.
Seems fine. Seems like great. Come to our state fair. What's the big deal?
Well, and what is the big deal, right? This isn't the first time we've had national influencers come. Chef Reactions was here. In fact, he was around the whole fair a couple of years ago and hit lots of different booths. He was live on K-Fan multiple times. Last year, Drew Barrymore was secretly here and then shared a bunch of content. And actually, I think she was eating deep fried Uncrustables on her show. And this is not the first time that we've had local influencers at the fair. Of course, they've been key part of telling the story. But in this case, the internet is doing what the internet's doing, and there's a big reaction about the national attention. And I think that if you really study where some of these posts are, which I've spent a lot of time reading them, there's a few different categories. And one of them is, we don't want you to come enjoy the fair ironically or use it as like a prop. Like, you should respect the fair and come and see what it's really like.
And when you hear that kind of pushback, it's sort of interesting. I mean, to a certain degree, we expect Minnesotans to be possessive of our fair. But I find like this tension fascinating because on the one hand, we love our fair. On the other, we love attention. And we love for the rest of the country to be like, we love you guys. You're so cool. So what is it, the commercial side of this, you think, that makes it so problematic to people?
So it's most likely, from reviewing all this conversation, it's a number of different things and different for different people, which, you know what? That sounds like the state fair to me. People have different reasons they love the fair. And in this case, we have people that absolutely are not interested in influencers at all, and they're just disappointed in influencer culture. Specifically Coachella, that big music festival, you saw a lot of influencers going, and they're covering how they're camping at their car and what their outfit is each day, and it really loses the look at what the best part of Coachella is. And so you could imagine if people are doing a get ready with me style social video for the fair each day, but they're not actually going to the fair even or talking about it, that they would be irritated with that. There's also this pushback that, man, everything's all influencers and you're seeing people filming selfies everywhere, and like I don't like that. And I think that's hilarious, because the fair is a media hub. There are literally, this radio station has a studio. You and I did this segment at the fair. This is what you're showing on the screen right now is me and my kids at the WCCO TV booth. It is naturally a place where modern media is helping tell stories.
Yeah, the idea that we would gatekeep the fair is weird, but I do think there is a moment right now where you look at the fair and you say, well, you look at the fair and we want to keep it pure. And as you said, there is a pushback against influencers that I've noticed right now, which is sort of interesting to me, because people seem to be continuing to consume influencer content. Do they just not want other people to make money? Like, I guess I don't fully understand what the genesis of all that is.
Again, I think there's gatekeeping is natural for all culture, and it's absolutely a Minnesota phenomenon where, like you said in the intro, we have something we really love. We want it to be a secret. We also want other people to know it's awesome. We don't want to be flyover country, and we know. And to be clear, the Minnesota State Fair is awesome.
It is awesome.
And I've had friends fly in from my friend Patrick flew in from out of town with his son from Boston just to come to the Minnesota State Fair. And that's fantastic. And I don't know about you, but some of those really busy days, it's a little too busy. And you can't. I want to consume content of people trying the new foods, and I can't wait to go get in line and go see it and see the crop art. And then I show up and I'm waiting in this line and I'm like, man, I wish the line wasn't so long.
Right. Yeah. And I have to be honest, like, I'm a bit of an interesting character in all of this, right? Because I'm like partially influencer, partially media, and I don't want a bunch of 25-year-old hot men and women prancing around our fair in their like brand outfits, like, kind of cosplaying farmers or whatever weird crap these guys are going to do.
Yeah. And I think there's some fair pushback on that, especially we're just post Coachella, where there's some really good music coming out of Coachella. And I wasn't seeing most of the influencers posting their outfits or posing. And you see some of what comes out of like Burning Man, like that's not really about the experience. And when Be Real, the app was very popular, and it would fire at the same time. You could look around and see young people everywhere, like pulling their phones out and taking a photo at the same time. That's cool. I've very much taken a selfie in front of the big Ferris wheel, or gotten that perfect sunset picture holding up a Pronto pup, and then shared that on social for attention and for engagement. Like that is okay. And it is okay to be concerned that outsiders, quote unquote, might come and that they might treat the fair ironically or like a stage. And what's interesting about, this specific influencer, whom I don't know, I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of her before this happened. She apparently led a fundraising effort that raised $200,000 for Minneapolis families and businesses that were impacted by ice in the first quarter. And so, yes, she is not from here, but she does have a connection to here. And let's talk about the other side, which is there are businesses who need attention.
Yeah.
And they're looking for modern marketing ways to earn attention at the loudest, most competitive place for attention in Minnesota in the summer, which is the Minnesota State Fair. So of course, they're already working with local influencers. The State Fair itself, who I met with 10 years ago to start to talk about bringing influencers in, is working with them. And so there are local businesses, local companies who are looking to national influencers and saying, how could we partner with them and shine attention on our business, which is, I mean, the fair is full of privately owned businesses exhibiting and trying to sell things. It's just going to happen.
It's so interesting. Texters saying the Minnesota State Fair is a prop. It's a full-on live in-person ad for all of the things good about Minnesota. If somebody wants to lean into the ridiculousness of it all, by all means, please come.
I love that statement. And, you know, I think that she, in this case, this influencer is a political influencer. The fair has always had politics, from, you know, the party booths to protest shirts to candidates shaking hands. And so I also think there's maybe some concern in some of the posts I've seen about a politically coded creator using that prop, that backdrop that might feel different. Ultimately, there's no right answer. Just like the fair.
Yeah.
Like, why do you like the Minnesota State Fair? Ask anyone; they'll all say different things. What I told you in our fair segment last summer is that I at first kind of didn't get the fair. I was like, well, I don't really like fried food, and it seems busy and dirty, until I really understand its role as an exposition and as a moment in time of elevating our culture, and a place where you can come see the amazing innovations and culture and smarts of people, of our culture in Minnesota. And I'm fiercely protective of that. And so if anyone is going to come from out of town or out of this area and abuse that or show that in a negative light, that's not going to be welcomed.
Greg Swan, stand by. An AI phone, Chat GPT type phone. What is it? Why would we want it? Do we want it? We'll talk to Greg about that when we come back.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Big red checks. More and more Minnesotans are saying, yes, give me the big red check. Get me out of the nightmare that is dealing with the real estate market. It's Jason here, proud to tell the story of my friend Chris Lindahl and Chris Lindahl Real Estate. That guaranteed cash offer has been so attractive to so many people because the housing market is a headache. Uncertain, yes. People coming through your house, traipsing through all your stuff, annoying. Do you need to spend a lot of money to upgrade your home to be at the standard that the picky buyer today wants? Chris Lindahl takes all that stress right away from you. Is the guaranteed cash offer for everyone? No. That's why at the top of Chris's website, there is a link to a free smart seller guide. So you can go click on that link and then fill out the information of your scenario. And this way you can weigh, all right, how much money might I get? How much time might this take? What's the stress? What's the risk? Work through it with Chris Lindahl. He's one of us from Minnesota. He knows this market so well. You know him from the billboards, but he knows your scenario and this market. ChrisLindahl.com.
We're gonna win, twins, we're gonna score.
It gets still before it happens. 17 at Hazeltine. There's watching it. And then there's being there. You feel it in your chest. Thousands rise. One shot, and everything explodes. The KPMG Women's PGA Championship returns June 25th through the 28th. And Club PGA puts you right by the 17th green. Shaded, comfortable, drink in hand, with the best view of the moment everyone comes to see. This is where it happens. Get your Club PGA access now at WCCOradio.com/events.
we've decided to offer Barufka's furniture trade-in event full time.
We'll give you $100 credit towards the Craftsman direct price of your $2,000 purchase of Barufka's furniture.
Don't kick that old end table to the curb.
Trade it in for a $100 credit on your purchase.
I'd like to trade my spinach sandwich for your egg salad.
Oh, Jim. Barufka's. No gimmicks, haggling, or hard-to-understand pricing. In Minnetonka, Woodbury, and Burnsville.
Decidedly different.
I'm here with Alec Sherrod, a top mergers and acquisitions attorney with Helmuth & Johnson. Alec, Minnesota laws can be complex. How do you make sure you're on the right path?
At Helmuth & Johnson, we help businesses and individuals navigate Minnesota's laws with clarity and confidence. We understand how Minnesota's laws and courts work, and we guide you every step of the way.
So it's not just knowing the law, it's knowing Minnesota.
Exactly. Practical advice, local experience, real solutions.
If you're looking to buy or sell a business, go to hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PROMO25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PROMO25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PROMO25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
A single contractor and construction company for all your home improvement needs, MetisConstruction.com. North 35 East still got some slowdowns. Kellogg heading up the Highway 36 southbound run, pretty much the same stretch, seeing speeds below the post. You're traveling north 169, not too bad with slowdowns past 394, but it opens up beyond that until you get closer to Chandler before you find another slowdown. Brighten your home with energy-efficient Infinity from Marvin Windows, built for lasting beauty, durability, and comfort. Go to lindasconstruction.com. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
You sit on your deck and you're sick of looking at your crappy siding. Type JTR on your computer for roofing, siding, gutters, windows, and more. JTR Roofing has you covered from the roof on down, serving the Twin Cities Metro. For a free estimate, visit jtrroofinginc.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
JTR Roofing bringing us the weather forecast tonight. The low is 48. The wind should calm. Tomorrow is a DeRusha delight day, mostly sunny. High of 72, winds under 10 miles an hour. And then Thursday, 77. And rain. We could get some real rain Sunday into Monday, which we need because we're dry. Right now it's 65 and windy. Fire danger out there for sure on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Next, let's find out. This is Greg's One. Explains the internet.
Greg Swan is with us via video link up. You can watch our videos always at youtube.com/WCCO radio, and you can follow Greg and his Substack, Social Signals by Greg Swan, where you're always monitoring the latest trends and ideas, including the one that you flagged for us today, the idea that OpenAI is preparing to launch a ChatGPT phone. Am I going to want this, Greg?
Well, nobody asked Google to make a phone, and
True.
now Android is one of the most important and largest phone platforms. And so,
And it's a good
OpenAI,
phone. It's a great camera. It's a great phone.
It's a good phone, we wouldn't have said like, oh, I need a Google phone.
No.
And so OpenAI leaning in, and they've been working on some sort of hardware product, and it might not look like a phone. They've been working on this for about a year with Johnny Ive, who came from Apple and is a very good designer. This is the 1-year anniversary, or we're close, of Sam Altman partnering with Johnny and thinking about making some sort of device. What's fascinating is that my Siri still isn't very good on my current phone. And Alexa has gotten a little better, but it's not very good. And so the thing is, like, we don't really care who makes it. We want it to be good, and we want to be able to trust the privacy implications. And if you're starting to think about an AI assistant that has access to your inbox, calendar, contacts, location, photos, voice, Apple's done a pretty good job at privacy. Google's done an okay job. I'm not sure people are going to trust OpenAI.
No, I'm a little nervous about it, but do I have ChatGPT on my desktop, on my computer, and do I have Claude? So how much of this am I giving away already?
Yeah, we're giving away more data than we know. It's why we think our phones are listening to us, because those ads are so good, because we're giving away our data right and left. And also, if there's a trusted assistant that understands your context and maybe lets you. Remember when phones were for making phone calls, Jason? What if you could make a phone call with it? Now that would be pretty cool. Maybe that could be the killer app.
I think most people don't even need the phone aspect of it, right? Who's calling anyone anymore, Greg?
Well, I'm not going to answer I'm going to send it.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thanks for taking a little time from your trip to New York City to hang out with us today.
It's been fantastic. See you at the State Fair in 107 days.
And we'll see you on the internet as well.
See you on the internet.
Days. Good Lord. Oh, my goodness. Greg Swan with us once a month. We appreciate that, and appreciate Finn Partners, where he is a big shot, for letting us hang out with Greg. Continental Diamond time check is 5:58. It's time for Dan and me to get out of here. We will see you tomorrow on the radio.
So when do you need to start thinking about a will? Find out at